Remember, Dave, you need to do an amusing little snippet to put before the R1 video. Hey y'all, I'm going to have to be quite quick here everyone, welcome back to Veefour, but today I'm testing the R1 2016. Now the reason why I'm kind of appear to be clipping on with this rather abruptly and brusquely is that the dealers that have let me take it out today only let me take it out for half an hour, but I don't know, it's their rules. If you want to take the bike out, that's what you've got to live by. But yeah, so I don't need to do you a bit of a walk around because anyone who's interested will have already had a good look at one of these in person. So let's see what it's like on the road, eh? Very smashing TFT screen there. I'm not entirely certain it's required, but it is nice. Well, one of the first things I noticed when I first got on this about 10 minutes ago is that it's quite quiet with the stock can on it. And the second thing that immediately sprung to mind is just how aggressive this seating position is compared to every other single R1 that's ever existed. My track R1 is a 2007 4C8 variant of the YZF R1. It was the last of the non-cross-plane ones. Now that, even as a track bike, is a very comfortable riding position, whereas this is quite low at the front. I mean, that's obviously going to translate well to track riding, which, given all the reports, this bike is absolutely excellent at. But for town riding, I'm not entirely too certain, and I won't have enough time on it today to sort of try and really get used to it, so we'll just have to make do what we can. But straight out of the box, it's nowhere near as comfortable as the S1000RR, which I tested last year. Another thing is the throttle is quite snatchy. Now that's to be expected in some degree on a modern fly-by-wire sports bike, but it is quite grabby. But you could probably get used to it, because I found my Tuono's throttle a bit grabby at first, but I got used to that. Now I've got it in B mode at the minute, set on full power, traction control 4 and SCS, whatever that is, on 2. So I don't intend to play around with the modes much today, only to just give it the first ride impression really, but yep, it can move. And once you've got it moving, this riding position is actually not too bad. The seat is rock hard, but I don't mind that. Some people have a real problem with hard seats, but my arse just must be made of better stuff, or harder stuff anyway. And I put a lot of it down to the fact I do a lot of pedal bike riding with rock hard carbon fibre seats on those. So I just probably got used to it, but I could sit on this seat for a prolonged period of time without getting a numb backside, no problem. The thing that would bug me is is probably my hands. There's a lot of weight on my hands, and it's the position that they're at. I can really feel it. But it's a sports bike, you know, you've got to kind of expect that. I'm just comparing it again to the S1000RR, which the hand positioning on that is about as perfect as a sports bike can get, in my opinion. Practical things like the mirrors, they're not too bad. You can see a lot of the side of your body, and they're mounted quite low, so you can actually see your own legs waving about, which is a bit of a novelty. But you can see about 60-70% of what's behind you, so that's not too bad. And the brakes, let's see what the brakes are like. Ooh. They do the job, but they don't seem to have a great amount of initial bite. Let's try that again. feel like they have the same sort of stopping power as a Brembo M50 monoblock, but they just don't have that initial bite. You know, they kind of feel a bit like you've really got to sort of swing on them a bit to get them going. That might be changeable with a new set of pads, more race-focused pads, but yeah, they are noticeably quite wooden, really. Now let's stir the box a bit. Let's see what she feels like with the fire stoked. So I'm in second gear. I've not tried the quick shifter yet, so we'll give that a go while we're at it. Let's dispatch with this Corsa. Yep. Yeah, it's to be, you know, this bike is gonna be fast. There's absolutely no way it cannot be anything other than fast. I just wish I had longer than half an hour on it, because, you know, I really like to stretch its legs a bit, but I have what I've got and that's it. Actually, I'm kind of getting a bit used to this seating position now. Once you're moving, it's fine. It's just when you're going through traffic, it's a little bit annoying. The quick shifter is very nice, operates smoothly and quickly. The gearbox feels quite very, in fact, very. Yeah, I'm gonna go for a very smooth there on the gearbox. The pedal action is really light. The clutch is feather light. The clutch is lovely. The clutch is really nice. And like pretty much all litre bikes of the sport variety, it has absolutely nothing before 7,000 RPM, and then it sort of lights up a bit. I just did a little bit of a U-turn, and as you saw, albeit an extended U-turn, it's very easy to handle. Well, let's just see what it's like in A mode. No, I see. So you got that across. Mode. Oh, right. Is it one of these ones I've got to come to a standstill? Oh dear, let's just check that out. It won't change from B mode on the fly, it would seem. So let's see if we can come to a standstill. A, yeah, you have to be. And in A mode, it looks like quick shifter's active, lift control's active, and I've just lost my nice clear empty road. That's annoying. Oh well, it gives me the chance to overtake stuff. Yeah, it's a very smooth machine. It's the first time I've ridden a cross-plane crank, and I heard talk that these, you know, the cross-plane crank has a very distinctive character. Well, as far as I can see up to now, and that's only based on this very, very short ride where I've not really given it anything, it doesn't have as much character as my Veefour. Now, apparently the firing order on a cross-plane is similar to that of a Veefour, hence why it has this kind of growling engine note, which if it didn't have the stock can on, if you put an aftermarket can on the end, it might sound a little more throaty, which would be nice. If I was to opt to buy one of these, I'd go for the current, I think it's a 60-year anniversary one in the old school yellow colours, and that comes with an Akropovich tail can on it. So that's what I'd be looking at, and it'd probably sound a lot fruity and a lot nicer. Yeah, quick shifter's nice. Feels quite easy to rev match this as well, because the engine braking doesn't seem quite as fierce as it does on my Tuono. Yeah, just that. I've heard it described. I think the new adjective is herky-jerky. That's what people are describing throttles like these days that have this kind of on-off sort of thing about it. You have to be very, very, very subtle with the throttle control. I'm not too bad on it because I'm used to a fly-by-wire throttle on my Aprilia. And once you get the muscle memory for it, I imagine it's a lot easier. But to actually sit on the machine, it feels more like a in fact it feels more cramped than a 600 really. The actual dimensions of the thing really do put me in mind of a 600 Super Sport, except you've got all that creamy Yamaha litre power. The back brake is not very good, and also the pedals tucked right into the side, which is quite difficult to get my big flappy feet on. Oops, that was a bit of a... Now this one's rocking Supercoaster SP rubber on the road, which is very nice, and it feels super planted. I don't think I would have very many miles under my belt before my knee was going down on this. And there I am leaving my indicator on as per usual. So what else could I tell you about it? Just from the first ride impression that I'm getting. Obviously it's not going to be a full test ride because I just haven't got enough time on it. But my first impressions are, it's cramped. It's really cramped. Whether or not I personally could live with it, I don't know. It doesn't feel any less uncomfortable to ride than my Tuono, because I quite like the sports bike position. It doesn't really bother me, but just about now I'm just starting to get a very, very slight twinge in my back. But that could be down to the fact I actually pulled me back about a week or two ago while I was on my holiday. So that might be that more than anything. So yeah, but you can really get your backside into the seat hump, and within this position it's very radical, but you can take the weight off your arms a bit because you can grip the tank with your knees. Yeah, it's not too bad. Yeah, very responsive though. The performance of this I don't really need to go into. There's plenty of reviewers out there who have taken this thing on track, who have given this thing a good spanking round some canyon somewhere in some sunnier parts of America, and they will tell you everything you need to know about the power and the handling of this machine. It's going to be absolutely superb. I can tell that just by bimbling around town on it here now. But this is more an impression of what the bike would be like to live with normally, when you're not railing it around a canyon, when you're not spanking it around a track. And I have reservations of whether it'd be something that would get on my nerves quite quickly. For me, it just does not feel roomy enough. The standard lever positions, I would have to rotate them forward a bit. As you can, I don't know if you can see, but my wrists are cocked back a little bit. If it does help a massive amount when you have the levers angled so that all your arm, your wrist and your hand are all in one line. I just wish I had time to take it even on like a motorway slip road and just give it the berries in second and see what it feels like. it's not to say I'm not enjoying this. It's not every day you get to ride the apex of sports bikes, which probably the Yamaha R1 2016 is probably amongst. Yeah, it's got more than enough power. Everything else, like fuel economy, things like that, I can't really comment on today. But it's putting me in mind that if I was in the market to buy one of these, which I might be, I don't know yet, but stick this next to the S1000RR and I think I'd pick the S1000RR. You've got similar performance, you've got similar power figures, you've got similar price tags. But the S1000RR is just more of a day-to-day rideable bike while still being excellent at being a sports bike. This for me is just a little bit too extreme. So planted though, it really is. Just a little roundabout like that and it was probably over to about 45 degrees. It does look as though the instrument display has quite a lot of information on it that, I mean, I don't know why you'd need to know your brake position sensor at any time, or the balance of G-forces, because you're not going to be staring at that while you're caning it, and that's when that information might be useful. So yeah, so brake position, you know, I'm on 25% brake, 50% brake. Do you really need to know that, or is that just a bit gimmicky? It'd be good maybe for a track day where you had a camera mounted and you could review it later and you could see where, you know, you weren't giving it enough brake or you were getting on the throttle a bit too late. Then it might be useful. But just for bobbing about, I'm not entirely certain that that's required information. I think it's just there for a bit of a gimmick. But the display is clear and easy to read, the speed's clear, the gear indicator's clear, the mode readouts are all clear, and the linear digital tachometer's very clear. So I think we can say that this display is clear. Anyway, yeah, so unfortunately just a little quick play on the R1 today. I've got to go and take it back, but I've got to say it's nice. I just don't think it's me. I think it's just a little bit too I think it would just annoy me too much in the long run. So yeah, so anyway, that's enough of that. I'll speak to you later. Bye bye.